I would like to welcome you all to our second APCUG Home Automation for Seniors presentation. I don't think Bill needs any kind of introduction. He's been sharing with us his expertise on Windows for 4 months, and now we're on our second workshop. Where do we start? So I'll turn things over to Bill, and everybody sit back and enjoy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our workshop today. This morning, we're going to be discussing where do we start? And this is the second in our series, which we will be doing for the next 2 months. Our third presentation will be on November 11th, and it'll be lights, doorbells, locks, and cameras. And then our final workshop will be December 9th, doing it yourself versus having it done. Now, over the course of our discussions, you will see there is some redundancy in what we discuss, but it is our hope that the redundancy will also allow you to sink in some of the concepts that we're talking about when we're talking about home automation. So this morning, we're going to be speaking about the concept of home automation. And home automation, or smart home, is really building integrated smart devices for home management by a single device. It involves the control and automation of lighting, heating, such as smart thermostats, ventilation, air conditioning, and security, as well as home appliances such as washers, dryers, ovens, refrigerators, freezers. Wi-Fi is often used for remote monitoring and control. Home devices are also remotely monitored and controlled via the internet. A central hub such as an Amazon Echo Dot, Google Home, Apple HomeKit, or Wink Hub that controls by voice commands. And these are all interfaced either through your mobile phone apps or tablets, computer web interface, and it also, but not always, use internet cloud services. So the big question comes up about, do I have it done or do it yourself? Well, home automation is still in its infancy, and it's a category that can span from simple to extremely complex tasks depending on who you ask. The simplest way to wade into home automation is to eliminate the clutter and focus on what you want to do. A home automation checklist will help with this process. So as we go along, you might just jot down some things that you might want to do, and then later use that as a checklist when you're doing your actual planning. Many companies are moving towards do-it-yourself installations with contracts that require less of a commitment. These systems are typically easy enough for you to set up at your house on your own and be integrated with Alexa, Google Home, or similar digital home management systems and linked with your mobile devices. Do-it-yourself systems do not require wiring into your electrical system, which is a big part of what makes the installation easy. It also means that if you move, you can take the system with you quite easily. So let's start with planning and design. And what we want to do is start with what you want to do and not what you want to do it, and not how you want to do it. What is your goal? Is it to know when someone connects to your Wi-Fi, to have control over energy consumption, or receive an email when the smoke alarm goes off? You'll need to work backwards to find your idea. Deciding what you want to go is a long way in determining your budget, your protocol, and how much time you'll be investing setting things up. So we want to start with a couple things to determine what your future decisions will be. First, decide on whether you want a wired or wireless home automation. Wired automation is recommended for business establishments like hotels, wireless, but wireless automation is better suited for home use. And if you're trying to make your home smart with a little hassle and cost, I would recommend that you choose the wireless automation. And the other thing you have to do is decide on protocol, and we'll be talking about protocol a lot. I'll also give you a definition of what we're actually speaking of. But this is going to be, protocol is going to be your communication language between your devices. And there are quite a few technologies that you can choose from, like Z-Wave, Zigbee, Wi-Fi, UPB, etc. The protocol you choose will determine your future choices and devices, as we had said previously. So deciding what you want to go will be a long way in determining your budget and how much time you'll be investing in completing your choice. So to function properly, each integration should follow certain protocols. A protocol is a set of rules that underlie mechanisms that allow the communication between certain devices. And proper protocols such as Bluetooth, Zigbee, Wemo, Insta-On come to mind. So when we start talking about those, we want to say this. We want to talk about those. Is that Bluetooth, for instance. Bluetooth is a wireless technology standard used for exchanging data between fixed and mobile devices over a short distance using UHF radio waves in the industrial, scientific, and medical radio bands. From the 2.4 gigahertz to the 2.480 gigahertz, and building personal area networks. It originally was conceived as a wireless alternative to the RS-232 data cables. And if you have used Bluetooth for anything, you know that it's fairly limited in its distance. It's just for a short span. When we talk about Zigbee, it's one of the more popular radio frequencies powered by a low-powered communication network for low latency devices. And the interesting thing about Zigbee is that the signal becomes stronger when you add more Zigbee-compatible devices to your home. Wemo is actually a family of devices that are geared to a certain, with their own proprietary operating system that's built in. And they range from these little plugs that you plug into other devices. And that goes for the same as Insta-On. And those might be also considered as brand names. Now, one of the things that you want to also be aware of is how robust is your Wi-Fi? How will you use it? Do you want to control everything remotely? The more wireless devices you have connected means more bandwidth and a higher speed internet connections. So you have to keep consideration again in your budget, because the more the higher speed internet connections is going to increase your internet bill. So sometimes you'll be forced to make a choice simply because it fits within your budget. Now, we were talking about, again, we were talking about our definitions. As someone has told me before, Google is your friend. You will see many terms on home automation. Do not allow the terminology to intimidate you. Look them up. And here are a few terms that you will probably see when you start. So say, for instance, geofence. Geofence is a terminology, it's as a technology used to secure your home. Usually it relies on a GPS positioning system. Geofencing tracks your smartphone location in order to detect you or your family's position in reference to your home. So say, for instance, it also applies to other devices as well that has that protocol built in, is that it will set a parameter. Say, for instance, you have a automated garage door, and you want to be aware of whether the garage door is up or down. Well, as you leave the parameter, it will then send a signal back to check and alert you whether the, well, it'll do one of two things. It'll alert you and say that the garage door is up or down, or it will automatically initiate an action to close the garage door. The other term is smart hub. A smart hub is an appliance designed to connect multiple smart devices in your home with the purpose of offering you the possibility to control them via a mobile application or a central digital remote controller. And we discussed Wemo, and we discussed Instant On. And then there is X10, which is another proprietary protocol that has been around for eons. It's the oldest home protocol, matter of fact, and it was developed in Scotland in 1975, and still the most widely used protocol in the world. However, it's not recommended for a large variety of applications due to its slow response time, and it has flaws in terms of security and virtually zero encryption. But you'll still find those little devices. They were very popular, sold through Radio Shack. You can still go to the X10 website and be able to purchase different devices. Zigbee is one of the more popular radio frequencies powered by a low-power communication network for low latency devices, and we talked about that earlier. Z-Wave is quite similar to Zigbee and allows you to control Z-Wave compatible devices from a central source. That communication type uses a mesh network, which means that it relies on devices to extend the network range. There are some limitations with Z-Wave. It's limited to 232 devices, and it also operates around the 900 megahertz frequency range. We spoke about Bluetooth, and then lastly there is IFTTT, or if this then that, or for those that yet to make its acquaintance, it's a web-based service that allows you to perform various, to integrate various platforms, applications, gadgets to trigger responses in one another that otherwise would be possible. So this would be, IFTTT would be your bridge to connect devices that have some incompatibilities with your other devices. You can use a simple text-based language in order to allow that connectivity. And there's a whole, sometimes these little programs, and that's not really the proper term, but they're really referred to as recipes. And within their website, there's a whole catalog of ones that you can choose from that will allow you to link different devices together, even though they have their protocols are not compatible with one another. So the next question that we want to talk about is what to automate. So what you want to do is first establish who will the smart home be for. And this is very important because you need to consider that other people might use the smart devices in your home. For instance, do you have guests very often? Consider that other people might use the smart devices and make sure you put them where they need them. Will they be able to use it? For example, if they don't know how to use a smart bulb, consider a smart switch instead. And you might be quite tech savvy in regards, about your own system since you're creating, but you have to also remember that most people are not. And for some, even using an app might be challenging, and those people might prefer using devices, as we say, in the old way. So you want to talk to them and present the smart solution and implement it in a way that they can actually benefit from it. So here's some possible use cases. You might want to control your energy consumption. Remotely control your water heating, e.g. the electric boiler or water heater. Control electric heating and ventilation. Automate your irrigation system. Measure and control pool and spa temperature, pumps, and covers. Remotely turn on or off your electronic devices. Remotely check, lock, open, close your front, back, and garage door. Automate your lights to turn on and off on a schedule. Set your air conditioning to keep the house comfortable. Open your blinds during the day and shut them at night. How about feeding your pets on schedule? Opening your garage door with voice commands. Set your coffee maker to have a fresh pot of coffee ready. And this is just a simple list. To put it very simply, if you do something repeatedly, you can probably automate it in one way or another. Have an open mind because there are countless possibilities. Don't get too impressed by certain cool technology and start thinking only in terms of how could you use, but start thinking only in terms of how you can use that technology instead of thinking about what you want to do and then start thinking about how to do it. Now, what I call the big three: lights, camera, and action. Lights has the advantage of a smart home lighting automation is that it can protect you against burglars whenever you're at home or away. Smart lighting is highly useful in enhancing the security of your home. Lighting gives you the presence that somebody is at home by randomly turning the lights on and off. From outside your house, it looks like though someone's at home. Cameras within the home automation scenario has improved significantly over the last couple of years by adding streaming components. In addition to displaying camera feeds, sending snapshots using a motion detector, and running automation routines that you can also record video and use for object and face recognition. And lastly, action. By connecting your personal devices, entertainment platforms, and home appliances to a central automation hub, you can control everything from lights to temperature to music at any time using your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Now, what we want to do is ask the question, what can I buy? We want to get acquainted with the various devices on the market. So one of the things I think the easiest way to get started in home automation is begin with the lighting. They're simple and easy to install. There's even a Google GE bundle that comes with an S spinning. And with lights, you can control them anywhere in the world via the internet. There's even a light control system that is provided by a company by Insteon. They have a power link that you can program new lighting sequences that allows you to turn your lights on and off and fade them up and down. And you can schedule when your lights display activates 2 days of the week or even start and stop times with specific days. And this is also true with a couple other devices. The Hue lights come to mind, that they allow you to do basically the same thing. So how to choose? The bulb you go with is going to depend on a couple different factors, including your budget, your home's design, and what sort of extra features you're willing to pony up for. And here are some of our picks for a variety of different scenarios. These represent the upper and lower ends of lights. As I mentioned before, the Hue lights is probably the most expansive and expensive feature-rich product line under the Hue and Friends of Hue branding. So with these, you can get all types of different kinds of lights, from the simple light bulbs to actually light appliances that are geared to give some sort of ambient lighting, like you can get a device that you can put behind your TV and it will react to the emotion that's going on within the action on the television. So there's a whole family of things that you can look for when you are making a decision of what kind of lights you want to buy. And some of the things that's really nice about this is that you're not really confined to a particular brand. So if you want to use the fancier Hue lights and then go to some of the expensive lights, you can do that. You can mix and match. There is some issues with doing that, but we'll discuss those in a bit. Another brand is Life, and it offers a plug-in bulb to retrofit your own lamps and begin life as a Kickstarter, and they're available for $99 each. Or there's another company that's called Wise, and it's perfect for those on a budget, and they have a whole family of bulbs and other devices that are very inexpensive, and they work with the Alexa, the Google Assistant, and IFTTT. And then, of course, there's cameras. Install cameras anywhere and they transmit a vivid color video with audio directing to your TV or smartphone, so you can monitor what's happening in and around your home anywhere at any time. For example, both wired and wireless do-it-yourself models are available for indoor and outdoor use. Along with that, we have the smart webcams. A smart webcam is probably the most desired piece of hardware for your home automation. It can be placed anywhere to monitor the activities around your house. And as a security device, they offer full resolution so you can see more clear and clean images. Some have two-way talk using your smartphone. and night vision that enables you to monitor in low lighting situations. Models to consider are Ring, Nest Cam, and Arla. And these are in various price ranges. Some require a subscription service to keep a data so that you can retrieve it at some later date, and others do not. So that's something to consider. Is that, do you want to have available to you 30 days of data, or do you want a year's worth of data? And that would depend on the amount you want to spend, because there are plans that allow these devices to do that. And some of the companies don't charge for this at all. Security sensors for windows, doors, motion, glass breaking, smoke can provide critical security information about your home, either at home or away. For example, would be simply, it's an affordable, small, and strong home security that you can purchase and place those modules. They come in various kits that you can buy, and they're as well as they are expandable, so you're not limited to just one kit. You can add things to it as your needs arise. Doors and windows alert systems, for example, would be expanding your Ring alarm security system with this set of 2 motion detectors. You just simply mount them in a corner of any room and receive instant alerts on your phone or tablet when the motion is detected. The motion sensor will automatically turn lights on when you enter a room, on or off when you leave. There's no wiring required. Just screw this device into a standard uncovered light socket, turn the lights off within minutes of leaving the room, and it will sense motion within 360 degrees. Then there's thermostats. You can remotely control them from anywhere in your house or world via the internet using a smartphone or tablet. They are programmable so that they will save energy, and that's the most beautiful part. And even if you're on one of these energy saving plans that your utility companies have, and they provide a thermostat to you, you can still take advantage of those savings by setting your internet thermostat to the settings that they have provided you, that is the most economical part of the day. So you don't necessarily have to use the thermostats that your energy company provided. You can take advantage of having, say for instance, a Nest thermostat or Ecobee. And your thermostat controls really half of your energy bill, more than appliances and more than electronics. So it should help you save energy, learns what temperature you like, and builds a schedule around it. That's referred to as auto scheduling. It also, a lot of them have what's referred to as auto away, and it uses the protocol that we talked about earlier called geofencing, so that it's tied to your smartphone, and when your smartphone is out of range, then the thermostat will go into a sleep mode, and the only time that it will activate if it gets above or below the limits that you set for the temperature within your house. You can set it, for instance, I have mine set for 85 at the top end in the summer, and in the winter I have 65. So you can do that, and it'll stay. If the house maintains a certain temperature, it won't, your heating and cooling device or equipment won't come on. And then we were talking about X10 before, and X10 has an alternative for your air conditioning and cooling system, and it's used with an intelligent home automation system that you can have it automatically respond with any action. Like it'll turn on a ceiling fan, open and close damper when certain temperatures are reached. Yet with all its advanced automated features, the system still offers the complete manual control you have with ordinary thermostats. And they're quite inexpensive. So it'll adjust from an X10 controller that will keep that you can keep on your nightstand. Make sure your house is a perfect temperature when you get home with any X10 timer, and control the temperature with a phone call with an X10 telephone transponder. When we're talking about electronic access, and we're talking about your door locks and these kinds of things, and they're really becoming quite popular. So electronic door strikes, door locks, shear locks, doorbell intercoms, and a variety of electronic key systems can be implemented. You can use the fingerprint keypad lock, and it unlocks your door by fingerprint or code. But what all the locks have in common is that you control and manage them with a smartphone and a web app. Some require that you replace the entire lock system, while others let you place a smart device over an existing deadbolt. You might also need to tap the lock with your fingers to let yourself in, or maybe all you have to do is just walk up and wait for it to recognize you and unlock. Some of the locks on the market today are worth considering and will work with your other devices. August is a brand, is the most elegant of designs. The circular lock replaces your old deadbolt, and you'll be able to control and manage it from a iOS, an Apple's device, or Android, or a web app. August will notify you when certain people come in and out of your house, let you give out unlimited digital keys to your friends and family with specific hours of operation and how long they have access. The locks only use Bluetooth to recognize when a phone with a digital key is near, but there's no need to bring the phone out. August will unlock automatically as soon as it senses that phone is within range. Yale is a brand that you recognize, and they have updated their products to work with home automation. They work with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it will replace your deadbolt with the help of a screwdriver. This lock uses Z-Wave seamlessly to integrate it into the 50+ home automation and security systems, including your Ring alarm, SmartThings alarm, Honeywell, ADT, Wink, and more. It will sense your phone when it's nearby, unlocking the system automatically. It also works when you leave your house. Will lock your door if you forget, and it also can open the door with a code. As you can see, it has a keypad. Kivo is another brand of lock, which has moved up to, it used to be part of, it was actually started as a short-term project in a quick set. The Kivo Smart Lock allows you just touch the lock with your phone to open the door, and it links with your iPhone, Android phones using Bluetooth, and it also is a family of locks featuring one as a complete replacement and one as a convert. So when we say a convert, that means that the device will just fit over your current lock and allow it to operate as a smart lock, and you don't have to actually do any kind of replacement. So they can interface, they also can interface with the Nest, Honeywell Thermostats, Ring, Skybell videos, Android Wear, which is, when we talk about Android Wear, we're talking about a wristwatch, and of course IFTTT. There are 2 accessories available for the Kivo Plus, which allows you to control locks anywhere in the world, and the Kivo Fob for those that do not have a smartphone. Kivo requires internet access, and it's also available with an internet port on your router. For those that have sliders, there is an auto slide automatic door system. It's wirelessly will open, pause, and then close your door. It will retrofit with most sliding doors, automatically retract doors with obstruction when an obstruction is encountered, and you can adjust that sensitivity. Easy disconnects to allow unrestricted manual use, and automatically opens the door for your pet with an optional sensor. So bottom line, smart technology adds convenience, but it's important to remember that this option is first and foremost a security device. It's important you take security features seriously. Use a PIN code for any voice control unlock, and make sure that you can only give access code to unlock the doors to people you trust. If your smart home is based on a Wi-Fi voice assistance and you don't use hubs, it's recommended a lock that works with your Wi-Fi network, or at least a Wi-Fi adapter. Consider whether you like a keypad, and consider replacing your existing and can replace your existing deadbolt. You'll need a new physical key for locking. I prefer a simpler retrofit design. So no matter what smart lock you choose, adding one to your smart home offers a lot of advantages. With these tips and the best smart lock on your door, managing access for family members, routes, and service providers, and guests is a breeze. Video doorbells. Installing an internet video doorbell is a popular option for the do-it-yourself home automation enthusiasts. They provide a level of security to your home and allow you to monitor your home's entryway from anywhere in the world. In addition of being able to answer the door, they offer HD cameras, Wi-Fi capability, image capture, night vision, remote door unlocking, and more. You can even talk to someone at your front door from anywhere in the world on your smartphone. And I'm sure you've seen the Ring commercials. They usually emphasize the fact that they'll show an individual somewhere away from his home, and people are around, and he can then communicate with them, which is really a big advantage. So while there are many security camera systems on the market that can be purchased at affordable prices and operated remotely, many people are opting for the video doorbell systems to conveniently secure their homes without spending exorbitant amounts of money. So once you've determined your specific needs, there are a few other factors you need to consider. First, consider the operating range of your chosen doorbell. This is especially important if you go with a wireless option. All wireless doorbells require a reliable Wi-Fi connection. You will want to ensure that video doorbells and its monitors will function properly in all areas of your home. Second, you want to consider the installation difficulty. Some wired and battery-operated doorbells can be easily installed under 30 minutes by following a simple set of instructions. Others, however, require a more complicated installation process and might even require you to hire a handyman. And then third, consider the design. While this might not be an important factor to some prefer that the doorbell blend in with the home's decor so it's not painfully obvious and sticks out like a sore thumb when visitors approach. Also, the other thing to look for is that the door facing, the doorbell that you choose may not fit in that space where your old doorbell did. So you have to kind of take a look of that. Most doorbells come with a fair amount of hardware that allow you to install them easily, even if you have brick and mortar to deal with. They have a way of being able to attach to the brick using various kinds of different mounts and so forth. So, fourthly, you wanted to look at how it will effectively integrate within existing home security accessories. So if you already have a home security system, especially if it's a Wi-Fi enabled, you'll want your doorbell to choose compatible systems to work together. The Nest products I know first will integrate with your Nest thermostat as a part of the app that comes with it, so you'll be able to see the doorbell and other things with it. So there are some integrations possibilities when you when you add this particular product to your home automation network. So some of the top models to choose for is Skybell. Whether day or night, you can clearly see who's at your door. Skybell HD. You can use its smartphone integrated app to start a live feed at any time you wish. Just rely on the sensitive motion detection system to alert you when someone is approaching. It will work with Alexa and Google Home. The Ring Pro gets hardwired to your existing doorbell wiring so that you don't have to worry about a complicated installation or batteries dying when you have someone at the door. It takes 1080p HD video, as most of them do today, and features infrared to identify nighttime visitors. There is a battery-operated version of the Ring doorbell, and it works. They all work with the Alexa, Google Home, and Apple HomeKit. August also makes a doorbell which connects with Apple's HomeKit. It can easily be integrated with the August companion door locks. It offers video monitoring featuring infrared to identify nighttime visitors. This doorbell will be a perfect pairing with the August smart door lock, enabling enhanced capabilities. Again, works with Alexa and Google Home. For those of you that want to add an additional bit of home automation, it's nothing like having a wireless garage door opener, and believe it or not, it's far older than the internet. But today it's connected. Technology has added a new capability for monitoring and sharing access to your garage from anywhere in the world. So we have been using those wireless garage door openers. Most cars today come with a way to pair them with the opener, and adding the internet part of it is kind of a new wrinkle, and it gives you a lot more capabilities. So with the help of mobile apps, not only will your smartphone replace your garage remote control, but you'll also get reminders when you've left the door open. You can easily manage who can access your garage. You can get notifications to your cell phone whenever the door is used, and it sets rules for the automatic opening and closing, and even monitor the garage door via a video system. So here are some tips. Determine which connectivity type you need, whether it's Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or cellular. See if the lock can integrate with your smart home hub and other connected devices. Filter based on monthly fees if the opener has an electronic keypad and code capability. Some of the brands: LiftMaster, MyQ. Add MyQ to your existing garage door opener and you can control your door again from anywhere in the world. MyQ comes with 3 different configurations. LiftMasters that have MyQ built in can be controlled by adding the MyQ Internet Gateway. The MyQ Retrofit will work with LiftMaster, Chamberlain, Sears, Craftsman, and Raynor garage door openers if they were built after 1998 without the MyQ logo, and MyQ Garage is a universal solution that is designed for any major brand of garage door opener with photo eyes. And those will also work with the Nest and the Link Hub. And they're quite inexpensive. I think I was looking at MyQ at Best Buy, and I think it's under $50. For those that have outdoor lawn sprinklers, you can automate those. Internet connected lawn sprinklers can take control of your watering and water with precise, using custom automated schedules that adapt to the weather. They can also connect with most home platforms such as Amazon Alexa, Google Home, IFTT, Nest, so you have more options and more control. So you have more options and more control. They connect with most home platforms such as Amazon Alexa, Google Home, IFTT, and Nest. You can add the device to a Wink Hub, then you have control with just using one app. Some brands to consider is the Rocheo. It'll replace your existing controller, and it can handle up to 16 zones. It's an EPA WaterSense certified, connects with top smart home platforms such as Amazon Alexa, Google Home, IFTT, Nest, and more. It will run zones directly from the controller. Manual access allows for local control. It automatically adjusts based on weather forecasts. The question is, does your city have a WaterSense program? Does it offer a discount when buying the approved system? So that's another incentive why you might want to go to an automated or an internet-based irrigation system, particularly if your city is on any kind of water rationing, et cetera, and you have to use certain days. This would be a very simple way to automate that more precisely than what you're probably having to do today. Lastly, when we were talking about actions, when I said light, camera, and action, the action part I was referred to as hubs. A home hub is a device, and we've mentioned these several times through the course of this discussion, that connects different best home automation systems into one system. The home hub acts as a central point for home automation systems and allows them to talk to one another. Having a home hub is an indispensable component if you want your smart home to function at its best. Now, what this actually means, what a hub actually will do, is that you have had we've talked about several different types of home automation devices. Well, we talked about multiple home automation devices. Each one of those has an app that came with the product so that you can be able to remotely. What's behind a hub is that it will allow you to integrate all those devices into one application, so that when you open your, say for instance, if we incorporate a smart hub device, then I will then have the smart hub application, and within that I'll see my lights, I'll see my doorbell, I'll see my thermostat, my garage door opener. You just have to go to one app. As someone has says, it's a one-stop shop device. You don't have to be fiddling with trying to find a particular app for that particular device. It's all in one place. So what to look for in a smart hub is, first you want to look for compatibility. There are different standards for communicating with smart hub devices, including Zigbee and Z-Wave. Before purchasing a smart hub, ensure that it supports the standards or the protocols used by your existing smart home devices. And we talked about that earlier, about the various different protocols. Automation. Some hubs will include automation software for your smartphone or computer. And if you're looking to have the lights in your home automatically turn on at a specific time, or have the thermostat adjust itself depending on the weather, you want to make sure that your hub includes the needed software. Coverage. Depending on the size of your house, you may need to check that the hub you're purchasing will provide sufficient coverage. If it isn't powerful enough to transmit a signal throughout your entire space, you might find that some of your smart devices won't respond. All right, so we're going to look at now a smart home project. And this is a proposed smart home for a typical house, and it has lots of things included. Some of them are we did discuss in our today, but we will discuss them in the future, because remember, our next one in November, we'll be discussing the lights, doorbells, locks, and cameras to a more in more detail. So some of these items that you'll see today will be included in that discussion. So to begin with, here's our house. And as you can see, it has a number of different devices that are used for the external portion of our house. We have an auto timer for our irrigation. We have a security system, an auto gate system, a solar powered spotlight, a smart access that's allowing us to get in our house with various types of door locks and other video cameras. We have a CCTV, that's a closed caption TV camera. And then we also have motion sensors on the outside of our house. So all of these devices is going to allow us to monitor and control the external areas. To further this, we also have a solar floodlight with sensor. We have a window alert system. We have fingerprint access for our doors. In addition, the car has a GPS system, and it also has a laser guided parking system. We have an alarm. We have a security camera. We have a motion sensor light, an electronic signature. We have a doorbell phone, and we have a door alert system. In our living room, again, we have a security camera. We have a audio video system, which we did not discuss. We have the auto sliding sliders. We have a door alert that's attached to that. We have wireless headphones. We have a wireless subwoofer for our audio visual. We have a mounted monitor. We have a digital poster. In other words, a internet, looks like a picture, but it will change scenes to your preferences. We have auto dimming lighting. We have a tele emergency alert so that we can get 911 access. And then we also have a talking heating, ventilation, air system where you can do that today with using your Google Home if you have a thermostat that accepts voice commands. So you can tell it to set the temperature at different degrees. In the dining room, again, we have an auto sliding door. We have a flicker counter for lighting, and that is electronic and probably is able to adjust the color and the flicker just through a voice command. We have security cameras, another digital poster, which is rather large, that we can command or tell it to change the picture at will. We have a motion sensor light. We have a self-watering planter. And again, we have access to a tele emergency alert. We have an auto air freshener. And we have an intercom. In the bathroom, we have a Swatch toilet bidet with remote, and a toilet seat is a high-tech toilet that doubles as a seat bidet, and it also has a heated seat and two retractable wands that spray aerated warm water. We have a motion anticipated soap dispenser. We have a towel warming rack. Toothbrush sanitizers. A motion sensor light allows you to, when you come in, the light comes on. We have an oxygenic shower head. And we have a shower radio with alarm clock. And in the kitchen is when things really get interesting. I recall some years ago, Microsoft was promoting one of their Surface products. where the countertop had a space where you could pull up recipes in order to when you're cooking. So there's also things today that you can buy, such as Samsung has an automated, internet-based refrigerator that will actually go in and take inventory of what food products you have on hand and build your shopping list. And you can access that from your smartphone. So in this particular kitchen, we have a thermal sensor blind. In other words, this blind reacts to the temperature on the outside, reacts to the sunlight rather. So they will darken as the sun shines directly into it, giving you sufficient light, but then it's not also causing a lot of heat rays to come inside the house. You have an auto water faucet, a talking recipe guide monitor, which is a little different from what we were referring to with the Microsoft one that had it built into the countertop. We have a talking timer. Now, if you have a Google Home in your kitchen, you can ask it to set the time for a certain amount. If you're cooking, say set the timer for 20 minutes, and it will then alert you that the time is expired. You can do whatever you were doing with your recipe. This one has an auto measuring spice carousel. And you think some of these are kind of far-fetched, but I would guarantee if you go on the internet and do a search for any of these products, you will find something very similar to what we're discussing here. Now in our bedroom, we have an audio distribution system, which is a extension from your main stereo that you can control, probably through voice, and play your favorite tracks. We have a tele voice over IP USB phone. We have a home control system. In other words, we'll be able to control our lights, our thermostats, etc. Another digital poster, a auto timer lighting system. Again, we can be able to control our heating and air conditioning by voice, and an auto wardrobe deodorizer. I've seen those. Samsung has actually one of those on the market that not only does the deodorizing, it also will do a certain degree of dry cleaning as well. So my final thoughts. So if you want to create a smart home that's perfectly suited with your needs and budget, you need to plan ahead and plan thoroughly. That way you'll make sure that everyone will be happy with the solutions and there will be no costly surprises. You want to make sure to predict how you will use it. Create a building floor plan with all the wiring and smart devices marked. Doesn't have to be anything elaborate, just kind of draw an outline of your house and then just place the various devices in the various areas, similar to what we did here in, similar to what I showed you earlier, where they have where the bedroom furniture in this case, and then the devices that you want to include with them. You want to choose the right technology that will communicate with and connect all your smart devices. and we were talking about deciding on what kind of hub that you want to use, whether it's a Google Home or an Alexa or one of the Samsung Smart Things, or there are different devices, and you can go and research to determine which one works best for you. Now remember, the voice recognition piece is going to be separate and apart unless it's integrated within the hub that you buy. But voice recognition is something that you add to your system, either an Alexa or a Google Home or Apple's HomeKit. Only with good home automation plan will you ensure that you have a smart home that you can generally enjoy without any surprises to your budget. That means, as we said before, integration defines what devices work well together. Voice activation, do you want to be able to control your devices by voice, either using a Google or an Amazon Alexa or Apple HomeKit? And then inventory what you have on hand. You probably already have some tablets and other devices, as well as your phone, that are standalone, but are currently controlled manually. You can you possibly can use, they might have an app that's out there that you can integrate with your current phone or tablet and be able to control them that way. Budget's always important. You want to decide how much you want to spend on your project. Start small. Light bulbs are the easiest to do and also the least expensive. You can start out with 1 or 20. Just depends on what you want to light in your home, or you want to automate rather. One company stands out in stretching your budget for home automation, and that was the Wise company. It's really worth checking out. Their products are good quality and inexpensive. And they have everything from thermostats to plugs, locks, and doorbells. So remember when we used to clap our hands to turn our lights on, and clap them again to turn our lights off? It was magic, and that was in 1986. But home automation has come a long way since those humble days of the clapper. There are a lot more choices of different home automation technologies and products, all claiming to be the best automation system. So you want to make your choices wisely. So with that, that concludes our discussion on our home automation. Where do I start? And hopefully you've taken lots of notes and you have questions. We can probably flesh out some of the areas that I discussed in more detail. So with that, I will turn the floor over. I've unshared my screen. And again, thank you so much for attending this morning.
Okay, I think Judy has a few questions to start things off before we open up the forum.
I do. Where can you find out about all of the different items that are available for a smart home? And can you say which protocol is best for now and the future?
That's a very good question. What I would start out doing is to this first, as we said earlier, decide what you want to automate, and then just get on the internet and search for those devices. Of course, the most popular ones today is using the Google Home devices, the Mini, or the Amazon Alexa. And most devices you find that you buy, you usually have those logos on the box that says this works with Alexa. So you're going to have to really check the boxes. There's no one protocol that is across the board unless you buy a strictly proprietary system. So I don't think you're going to be able to find anything that's going to be what's considered the best. It's more going to be a personal choice of what you want to do and how you want to do it.
I hope you all got a laugh about the clapper, because that's me. My kids, my grandsons who are now in their early 20s, when they were in junior high, gave Grammy a clapper. And they loved coming over and turning the lights off and on. And I sit at the end of my family room, have to walk through the family room and the dining room to get to the hall to go to bed. And that thing was way cool, but you had to get the right clap sound and face it. I've changed that out with, I started with smart plugs, and then I found about light bulbs, and I have GE light bulbs, and I'm loving them. And that was my start from, you know, turn on the bedroom lights, turn off the bedroom lights, you know, turn on the family room lights, turn off the family room lights, and so on. And my minimal stuff I have, I'm loving it. And I also have the Yale door lock that has a code to let me in. And I'm just having fun. It's fun to say, you know, hey, who sits over here, you know, do this and do that. And it's way cool. I know Dave Gerber has both Alexa and his Mr. G friend there. If I say that, mine's going to do something. So you can have all kinds of different things, but like in the presentation, you need to sit down and figure out what you want to do and start small. Go from your clapper to the next step up. I'm just still trying to figure out how to program my thermostat. It's still, when it gets hot in SoCal, I walk over to turn it on. Please, if you learn anything else today, make sure you make a short and sweet, not too long, convoluted password to access everything. I did, it's do as I say, not as I do. Well, I did as I say. And it's like this long, and it goes here, and it goes there, and it's got that, and it's got this. And Bill and I worked with the thermostat one night. I was standing in the corner. I was just dripping. It was one of the hot SoCal nights. And so think about your password when you're starting this, because you don't want to end up like I have with this long, hey, nobody's going to get it, but it's painful to work with. Okay,
Yeah,
another
you
question.
can't really, to add to Judy, is that a password manager doesn't come to mind in doing this, because you're going to have to manually put those passwords into those devices. And if it's something long and really involved, then it's going to be quite a problem, because they don't have QWERTY keyboards to work with. You're either having to spin a dial or use a little small touchpad to add those passcodes.
Can you add smart home to an existing device, or do you need to buy new for everything?
You can add them to the existing devices. We talked about that, particularly in the locks. You can do their replacement devices that you can use over your existing locks. You don't have to, and I would venture to say that some of the items that you purchased, you found those logos, says this works with Alexa or Google. So you don't really have to replace a lot of things. With the exception, of course, light bulbs, you'd have to replace those, but all your other things, you may not have to do so.
If you are inside your house and walk near the door with your phone in your hand, will the August lock automatically unlock the door? If you are in the house and hear a noise, might just walking by the door to identify the sound, but you don't want to unlock the door at the same time? Good question.
That is a good question. And I don't think I know the answer to that. I could see what I'm just speculating that there's probably, if you're inside the house, there's probably a means of turning that feature off, that it would not work if you approach the door from the inside.
Anybody has a August lock? Try it. Send me an email, and then we'll know.
I don't know I can look that up. That's a good question. Like if you
this is
answering
exciting.
the door and you don't.
This is exciting stuff. But her major concern is, what happens if you lose power, lose the internet? Can you still get in and control stuff? I'm going to answer a little bit of that. When I go to bed at night, I tell my friend over here to play some smooth jazz. I have Spectrum, and it goes like that off and on really quickly. And I said to Bill one time, when I'm listening to YouTube radio, shouldn't it keep playing? And he goes, oh yeah, Spectrum knocks me off, and that's it. So
well, what the I can attest for the lights is that if you lose internet for the lights, you can still control them manually with the switches. As to make the lights work, the switch is in the on position, and it remains in the on position. So that's one of the things that you have to remember if you're if you have smart lights. You have to tell your guests or your family members to leave the switch on, because you're controlling it by voice. But if you lose the internet, then they will still work using the manual switch. And I found I have 6 outdoor lights that are connected to the internet, and amazingly, even though the internet is, I lose internet, the lights remain on. So I'm thinking what happens is that when the, and within the Hue app, it has, it says, it asks, what do you want to do? Should there be a power outage, or what? I mean, you lose internet. You want them to remain on or off. So you can set that. There's in the settings. Now, I'm not sure about some of the other, I know the Google Home will not work. It'll say there's no internet connection.
Mine doesn't get quite that far. I have something else to say about bulbs. When I first got my bulbs, I have two lights behind me and one over there. And I did a pretend Zoom meeting with Bill, and my background was orange. You know, my flowers that I have right there was all orange. And I went, oh, that is so sad. I have all these bulbs because I'm going to put them elsewhere in the house. And I went out and bought some GE, just soft white smart bulbs. And come to find out, little did I know, because I really didn't do it thoroughly, look at it, is with even your GE bulbs, you can change the temperature. So all of the bulbs in my house, except for my bedroom, are set for daylight. which is just natural light for me. And I'm looking outside at my backyard, so all I have on is daylight. So if you go the bulb place, don't be me. Research it and see what color you want. Thank you, Lynn. You know, how much brightness. I have mine at 100%. The one thing that I checked out to make sure was the lumens matched my existing bulbs, because my house is dark and I really needed the correct, you know, amount of light on me. This says, Charles says the smart house will cost as much as the house. And I told him, start small. I have another
No, not necessarily. It's not. You can do, and one of the things about light bulbs, they're low energy, they're LED, and they last anywhere from 7 to 10 years. At least that's what it says on the box. I think that's from experience with other non-smart bulbs that are LED. They do last longer than the regular incandescent bulbs. So you'll really save some money in the long run. The thermostat will save you energy cost, because it's a lot more precise in controlling your heat and your air. So you'll see some savings from that, which will pay for itself within probably less than a year. So you don't have to spend a mint to automate some of the things that are that can be very useful and beneficial to you.
I have 2 more questions in my chat here. Other than the ability to dim and change colors, what other advantages do smart bulbs have over smart plugs, and how do the bulbs connect to a hub? Huh, I know that answer. Go ahead, Bill.
That's a good question. It depends on the, we'll start with the bulbs. I have the hue lights, and the hue lights require a hub. And it's a little device that's actually hardwired to my router. And then I can access the hub through the app, and it shows all the bulbs that I have installed, and I can control them individually, or I can control them as a group. I can turn all of them off, or I can turn each individual off. I also have a mix of colored bulbs where I can change the color. There's actually 3 types. There's the standard, which is just, you can dim them to various, and then there is what they call ambient light, which allows you to change, as Judy was talking about, from soft white to bright white and everything in between. And then there's the colored bulbs, which allows you to change any variety of colors. What I've elected to do, I have the 6 bulbs I have outside of my house are colored bulbs, and I change the color of those with the season. Like for Christmas, I'll have them red, red and green. And I can change them to any other color that I wish. For Halloween, I can change them to orange, Easter, maybe a peacock blue, whatever. But that's just for my entertainment. But that's kind of what the advantage that I see having them, plus the fact that there's a safety issue, is that when I'm trying to get from one house, I can turn the light on in the kitchen, for instance, and I'm in the bedroom, and I can get up and safely walk from that. If I don't have a hallway per se, but if I had a hallway, then I would lights in the hallway, and I would say turn the light on in the hallway, or turn the light on in the bathroom. So as seniors, it's an advantage to have those kinds of benefits that we can get from one point to safely without tripling or stumbling over anything. And I think those really work a lot better than the clapper, because if you had the bulb that you were going, I mean, you can clap to turn the light on in your bedroom, but you can't clap to turn the light on in the kitchen. So I think I've answered that. What was the other part of the question, Judy?
If you lose power, does your hub reboot and reconnect with all your devices, or is manual intervention required?
No, it will reboot. If you lose internet, most of your devices will automatically reconnect themselves without you having to do anything whatsoever. I know that from experience.
Mine reboots itself about 3 o'clock in the morning. I think it's when I go to bed a lot, and it knows I'm leaving the room. So it turns itself off and turns himself back on again. JJ, will you talk about what you did in the chat box, please? And we heard about your bathroom last meeting, but now we want to hear about your front porch this time.
Well, it's actually my front porch is my side door, and I haven't had any problems with the porch pirates as a lot of people have. But several months ago, I installed a drop box on my side door, and coming into my driveway, I have a sign for the delivery saying "Deliver to a drop box" for UPS, Amazon, and whatever. And I know Amazon has the code, and my post office guy has the code. But the drop box, about a month or so ago, a little bit maybe longer than that, my postal guy put a package in my drop box and I didn't know it was there. So what I did is I installed a ring sensor, because my house has got the ring security system. I installed a ring sensor inside the drop box. So now when they open the drop box, I know I got something in it. And recently I saw an ad about a new drop box available that has a camera in it. So hear about, if people have porch pirates, you might want to look into drop boxes.
Outstanding. When my favorite tech guy, who's a member of the club, when you take your computer over to him and you leave it in the trunk on his front porch, he has both of those things too. And you're kind of looking around like this going, okay, and putting it in. But that's way cool. Thanks. And we're open to you. Raise your hand. There you go, Regina.
Well, time out.
Oh, okay.
Judith has had her hand up for a while. So if she still has the question, she was first in line there. So Judith, you can unmute yourself and then share with us.
I'm actually, I sent it to Judy, but after her limit on incoming messages, it shows up in the chat box right now. I'm a worst case scenario planner, so I worry about living in a hurricane-prone zone and coming back and not being able to enter my garage or my home because it has these wonderful Wi-Fi enabled locks on them. Is there a solution for that? Is there the old-fashioned way to get back to opening your garage by hand, your garage door by hand, or your front door, etc.?
If I understood what you're asking, the garage door, depending on if you have an automated garage door opener, and it's one of those brands that I mentioned earlier, Chamberlain or Sears, any one of those that were made by that company, there is a device that you can purchase from Best Buy or any of those places, which will allow you to be able to automate your garage door opener. And I think your concern is about the
Join the meeting.
I think your concern is about the Wi-Fi. In
Yes.
order to use the Wi-Fi, you have to add what's called an extender that's closest to the doorbell and to the garage door opener. And what that will do is extend the Wi-Fi signal so that that area will be able to receive Wi-Fi. Now, amazingly, if you take your smartphone and you put it on Wi-Fi mode, walk out a little bit beyond your house and see if you still have a Wi-Fi signal. You'd be surprised how much Wi-Fi will leak outside your house, which probably will be adequate enough to run those devices.
Okay,
So
but
you just,
maybe I'm not understanding, but if I don't have power in my house, I don't have Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi comes via, like a plugged-in modem.
yeah, but you're emitting a Wi-Fi signal, are you not?
If the modem is plugged into working power.
Right. So what you would do, you just add an extender to those points in order to
Bill, what she's
extend the
saying is
Wi-Fi.
there's no electricity, so there's no modem, there's no
There's no anything.
Wi-Fi. How
Right.
does she get into her garage in her house?
I know.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
I know. My August lock has a redundant key. Many of the locks do. You can get them that don't have any keys. Mine came with a key. I keep it on my key ring. So if something happens at my house, I can and open the door and get in. So there you go.
I'm sorry.
So select a product that has an alternate.
Remember, I always have the easy, short and sweet, and to the point.
Okay.
ways.
All right.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't understand what she was saying. Yeah, but all these devices have a fail-safe. I mean that just because they're disconnected from the internet doesn't mean that you can't open them manually.
Well,
I
garage.
thought you were saying you
That's
had no Wi-Fi out there.
Yeah.
No. Well, Bill, but
I bet she lives in Florida.
I live in Florida, yes.
yeah, but Bill, my garage door with a garage door opener doesn't have a fail-safe. If there's no electricity, that garage door is not going to come up unless I get in the house and take it off the garage door opener. So some things I don't think have.
Yes, same here.
Well, I mean that's your fail-safe is to be able to disconnect it from the modem.
Right. But if she has a door that won't let her into the house.
Right.
I solved a problem. Okay.
Yep. That was good.
She said
Judith,
it
are
has
you a member of STUG?
has a key.
Are you speaking to me?
Are you a member of STUG?
Yes, I am. Sarasota.
Yes. Talk to Dave Gerber. He might have a good answer for you. It might be a good question to bring up at one of your Q&A sessions or something like that.
Dave is here.
Dave just nodded his head. So there's your connection, is ask that to your group, because you guys have a heck of a lot more of that than the rest of us in the states do.
We've been lucky this year, but
it's
not going to happen.
Yeah, I was having difficulty hearing what she was saying.
And you do
I
have
was having difficulty hearing what she was saying.
Yeah, you do have a UPS, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Y'all do down there. Regina, over to you. Unmute yourself. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Couple of things. For those of you who think that getting into the smart homes is a cost prohibitive thing, Christmas is coming up. What I did 2 years ago is we were sitting around eating dinner, and I said, since I've got you all here together, I want to tell you what I want for Christmas. I want light bulbs. You want light bulbs? I said, yeah. I said, I want smart light bulbs for my house. And I actually got them as Christmas presents, cut down on them, the cost. And then another thing, Bill, have you seen the ads where you stick a bowl in the sink and tell the faucet to give you 3/4 of a cup of water? Do you have any idea how that works?
No, I don't. Although that was one of the things that was mentioned in that smart home. They had one of those.
I mean, I can't figure out how the sink knows what 3/4 of a cup of water is, or the faucet.
Well, it probably has some ways of measuring the amount of water.
Google is your friend.
I know. I just
That would be a smart device to attach to your faucet.
We used to have a refrigerator that did that with the water through the door. You could say I wanted 1/4 of a cup of water, and it would pour 1/4 of a cup of water.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I've never seen it before.
I'm not sure that real expensive Samsung internet
Yeah, that's the one I'm
activated
looking at.
refrigerator probably has that capability as well.
I have to buy my dishwasher first, and then the refrigerator is the last appliance I have to replace. Because it's the most expensive. So it'll take me about 3 years to pay my grandson back for it. He puts it on his card and I pay him.
A lot of those types of things are launched or tried to be launched at the Consumer Electronics Show in January in Vegas each year.
Yeah.
And some of them you go and you go, oh my gosh. At one time they had, if you opened your refrigerator and you had weighed yourself, and you open your refrigerator, it would say, I'm sorry, you know, you've gained a couple of pounds. Think about what you're choosing in here.
Now, I'm
That
sorry,
never made it to market, you know, but we thought that was way cool. So there's people out there that are thinking of all of this smart home stuff.
Yeah.
And like I say, some gets to market and some doesn't. And Samsung is the most expensive stuff you're going to buy.
That's true, but it's also the most intelligent as far as this kind of thing.
Okay, who else has a question?
Go ahead.
Bill, what, Bill? Oh, okay.
Dave Gerber has
a
one. Or a
Oh,
comment.
I just wanted to let you guys know, I just got an email, you know, this Amazon Prime Day. They're offering a Ring Video doorbell and an Echo Dot for $69.99. Just got that email.
That's a good price.
How much is the Ring doorbell usually?
They went from 100 to 200 and more.
Yes. One of the things too, I forgot today is the last day for Prime Day on Amazon, so you can find some of these things there on sale. The other question about if you, as I said before, if you're curious about something and you want to see if you can automate it, just go on the internet and Google and see if there's a device available. I'm pretty sure you'll find it.
It's like with your light bulbs, you just screw them in and connect them to your hub and you're done.
Yeah.
Another thing with the light bulbs, if you break one of them or if something happens to the device it's in, when you turn on all of your lights, your hub will come on and tell you that one is not working. You need to check it because it's not working right now. I said, no, I broke it.
Thomas, go ahead. John? Thomas, I'll do it later, but Thomas has got a comment.
I'm just curious as far as security and hacking. I guess it depends on how well your password is for everything. That's the only thing you need to worry about.
Well, the password that you're going to be concerned about for your Wi-Fi devices is the one that is used with your router and
modem.
Wireless router. So whatever password that you have assigned to that would be the one that would be assigned to the other devices. They all have to be using the same password and be on the same network in order to function.
So
and that's what Judy was making a reference to, is that if you're going to have a bunch of these devices, you want to, of course, have a secure password, but you don't want to make it one that's 25 digits long, because you're going to have to put that on individually, put that in individually.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would not
and
be
your
good, right?
Wi-Fi password really doesn't, and I might be, somebody might want to challenge or correct me on this, but the Wi-Fi password is the one that's unique to you and your wireless network. it's not quite the same as some of your other passwords that you're using for other things. So it can be, it needs to be secure, but it doesn't need to be convoluted.
JJ, do you have both Google and Alexa?
I have Alexa throughout the house. I think I have about 4 or 5 of them in the house. My security system is Ring. I have the Ecobee thermostat, and I don't know what else controls my house, or my house controls me. I'm not quite sure.
That's it.
Gerber has both Amazon and
Yeah, so you see all of this stuff, if it works with Alexa and or Google, they all play. That's what Bill said, you know, check the label when you find something you like and see, you know, what it works with.
Well, Google will not work with Ring.
It won't?
Ring is owned by Amazon. So guess what it works with? It works with Alexa.
Regina?
I can say Alexa because my device responds to the word echo.
So there. Regina, would you Google that, please? Because when I was researching stuff last night, I think there's a workaround. But it's not with Google Home, it's Google Assistant.
What am I looking for?
Does Ring work with Google?
Okay.
And just see what it says.
The one thing I was going to say was to piggyback off of Judy's fun with Clap Clap. I even go back further into the 70s because it was before my dad died. So early 70s, we had a whistle switch, and it was this little plastic, kind of like a squeaky toy that you would squeeze and it would make a whistle kind of sound. Lights would come on and come off. But we also found out if you could do it right, you could hiss at it and turn the lights on and off. So that was from way back in the early 70s that we had the first, for me, the first automation.
Reacts. Wow. The clapper reacts to what's on the TV too.
Yeah.
Really boring.
Well, I'm going to play real dumb here. How do I get back to putting in a question for Google? Anytime I try to get off of this page, I screw it up.
Oh.
Press your escape key.
Oh.
Did your regular toolbar pop up? Taskbar?
If anybody else has questions, if you have a camera on, you can always raise your hand and we'll see it. If you don't have a camera, you could either pop into the chat box and say, I've got a question, or you can go into your participants and there's a raise your hand type mark either at the bottom of your screen or in the participants. But it's pretty amazing. I think, Bill, the thing that shocked me the most was your little slides with all the different rooms and all the stuff that come in there, that are in there for this. Makes me think of like going to a Disney World exhibition and seeing all this stuff for the future, and it's now.
Now, it made me think he spends too much time in the bathroom.
But the amazing thing about that is that those devices that were shown in those illustrations are rather unobtrusive. You wouldn't really realize that they were there unless someone pointed them out to you, as it was in the illustrations. I thought the thing that was uniquely fascinating was the picture boards that you can go in and change the different pictures at will, and those are available. They're expensive, but they do exist, and you can get them as large as a regular picture. In that one instance, it was a full wall.
JJ?
I don't know if you mentioned or not. Did you mention anything about the Apple Home? Because they have automated devices also. I know that I have a routine set up for my living room lights and turns my living room lights on and off, and it's controlled through Apple Home.
I didn't mention that. You mean the Apple Home Kit? I didn't mention that, but
Okay, I wasn't quite sure.
can you talk about it? I mean,
I don't use it that much. I set it up like over a year or so ago, but like I said, the only thing it controls basically here again is my living room lights. Turns them on at sunset and off at bedtime, and that's about it.
well, I'm using, now I have that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have the light and the entryway and the my breakfast room light and the sink light on that. Well, also the outside lights, and those come on at designated times.
Yeah.
But I'm using the Hue hub to do that.
I have the Hue hub. I have the Philips Hue hub, and I'm not quite sure. Like I said, it's been so long since I set it up. I'm not quite sure how it's really controlling. But I know if I go into the Apple Home Kit, I can control the lights, turn them on and off. But it has a routine to do that. And
Right.
also, I have the same thing. I have the my smart blinds, which actually track the sun and turn it off, and they close at sunset and come back on in the morning, or open back up in the morning. Yeah.
Judy. Oop. Judy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, it says best answer. Yes, Ring devices do work with Google Assistant. Ring has an official Google Assistant app that links all your devices on your Ring account to your Google account and makes them available in Google Home. So yes, it does.
Now the Google Home is an application that, and it's different from a Google Assistant. Google Assistant is the voice recognition
I know this
piece.
says that it makes it available in Google Home.
Right.
It says it
But
works.
I just want to make sure that you don't get the two confused. But
No,
when you talk about Google Assistant, you're talking about the voice recognition
it's an
piece.
app.
And you talk about Google Home, you're talking about the application.
The Google
And it's the
Assistant
one that's a one shop. It'll show all your devices in one place.
says here the official Google Assistant app that links all your devices to your Ring account, to your Google account, and make them available in Google Home. So the Google Assistant
Right.
connects to the Ring's application, and it goes down the line until it gets wherever it's supposed to be. But yes,
That's what I read last night.
Do each of those require a monthly subscription?
What now?
Do each of those, the Ring and the Google Assist, does that require a monthly subscription?
no.
Well, I'm not sure about the Ring. You have to pay a subscription for something, but that's separate and apart from the integration with Google Home and Google Assistant.
Now on here it does say Ring Video Doorbell 3 is $200 at Best Buy.
Well, if that's the 3 on sale, you better buy one.
This is just on their webpage.
Yeah, but I think Dave said today you can get a Ring for $69.
Yeah, it was $69.99 for the. I didn't click on it to see exactly which version of the Ring it was. It's probably the $99 version, which is fine, but it included the Echo Dot. So
Yeah.
that's the doorbell and the Echo Dot for $69.99.
And the Ring doorbell comes in two versions. It comes with a wired version and a battery operated.
Well, it depends upon the model. Some of the upper models are only wired,
They're only wired. Okay.
but the ones that are under $200, they're all battery or hardwired.
There's
Sal-
actually about 3 or 4 versions of Ring. I know the original one, which I bought, didn't have the replaceable battery. You had to pull the whole darn thing down. I have Ring 2s now on my front and side door, and I'm replacing the battery about every 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, I got
That's a good
the
time.
Ring 3. I think it's the Ring 3 Pro. And the reason why I went that way is that it supposedly has an expanded Wi-Fi range.
Sally Ann has a comment or question, and Sally, you can unmute yourself and share with us.
I'm sorry, I did not have a question or comment.
Oh, I saw a hand up.
I have something from Dorothy from Canada. She says an interesting show to watch is called Next, N-E-X-T, on AI technology. And Kathleen has a clapper story. She says, when my mother-in-law visited for a few months in the early 90s from Denmark, we had set up a bedroom for her. We thought the new clapper device would be wonderful so she could turn on or off the lights from bed. We never got it to work. We tried clapping all different ways. You do have to make a certain sound and you have to cup your hands so it's hollow sound. They finally gave up. When she and I were changing the bed, we shook the sheet. The clapper worked. Boy, did we get a laugh. We learned what sound it needed and finally mastered the technique. What a hoot.
Flap, flap.
Yep.
We've come a long way.
Absolutely. Questions? Do we have any questions? If not, at exactly, well, we didn't start on time. We were having technical problems as usual. When you know, it worked yesterday, but it didn't work today, so to speak. John, you want to
Sure, I'll close
do a
things
last
out.
call?
Yep, last call. And for those who are still here, let you know that our next APCUG workshop we've got on Thursday the 29th. Kenneth Tubal will be available that evening for Bitwarden questions and help. And announcing that we will be, APCUG will be sponsoring a Linux workshop, multi-one. First one of those will be on October 28th at the normal 12 o'clock Eastern time. And that one will be running through November and December. This will be really good for anybody who really wants to find out some interesting things about Linux. And of course, I won't end things without mentioning the fall VTC, which will be on November 7th. And that's coming up with information. So you want to make sure. Plus, the big thing will be that at 3 o'clock on the 7th will be the APCUG's annual business meeting and election of directors and advisors, the announcement of all the winners from the contest, and other good stuff. Judy?
And you still have 4 days, count them, 4 days to send in your bio and your picture and say, gee, I'd like to be a director or an advisor for APCUG.
We have too
and
much
I don't
fun.
want you all to laugh hysterically, okay? I was at the Los Angeles Computer Society meeting last night. In fact, I've been at 2 election meetings, one last week, one this, and of course, nobody raised their hand to do anything. So it's the same old people doing it. And I thought that is so typical. But just thought I'd let you know, 4 days.
We have too much fun.
It's really a rewarding experience to be an advisor.
Yes.
You get to interface with so many different computer clubs and learn so much from them. So I strongly encourage you to give it a try. It's only a year commitment.
No, there are no tries.
Yeah, you just do it.
We really would like some more
here.
directors. Since our president died, we filled one position, but we do have another open position on the board.
Remind everybody that we will return in 1 month for Bill's 3rd installment of Home Automation for Seniors. I'll leave the chat box open just for a few minutes as we close out in case there's any questions. If we do have your name and email that match up, Judy will be sending the follow-up sometime before the next meeting. Thank you all for attending. Thank you all for being members of computer clubs that are members of APCUG. This is another benefit of your club's membership to APCUG. And we will see you again soon.